Ladies and gentlemen, COSAFS, founded by Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Shahrul Razid Sarbini, Campus Director of UPM Bintulu Sarawak Campus, is an umbrella of 3 concurrent international conferences, namely the International Scientific Conference on Indigenous Crops, the International Conference on Fisheries and Animal Sciences, and the International Conference on Food and Industrial Crops. Yang Berbahagia Professor also spearheads the Agrihub Gedong Paddy Transformation Project. Please join us in welcoming on stage Yang Berbahagia Professor to present his keynote address titled Agrihub Gedong Sustainable Agriculture for Food Security.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang amat berhormat Premier, distinguished guests, members of the floor, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning. Welcome to Congress on Sustainable Agriculture and Food Security, COSAFS 2024. Sustainable agriculture and food security. It is the 2 big names, 2 big issues that we have spoke over the years, especially now when we realize that sustainability is a key to preserve our resources that are somewhat depleted in the future to come. So we should learn from the past, from previous ancient strong civilizations, from the Greek civilization, from Egyptian civilization and other civilizations that have collapsed due to natural resources that are depleted and non-sustainable farming practices. We are actually heading towards that. As you know that we had used a lot of agricultural inputs, increased pesticide, herbicide, where the usage of pesticide and other types of herbicides have increased 26 times for the past 50 years. These have polluted 48% of our stream and river water. So it is alarming when you think about it. Of all 70% water in our planet Earth, only 50% are ready to be consumed. Another alarming thing is unsustainable agriculture practices leads to the loss of 12 million hectares of land which are previously arable, which are previously suitable to be planted for crop cultivation, which are now can no longer be used. I believe some of you have watched this movie called Interstellar, where hopefully it won't happen in the near future, where the Earth population have to be transported to another planet due to the land that have been changed into desert and it's not suitable for planting any type of crops. So, how we connect sustainable agriculture and food security? Yeah? When you talk about food security, we always think about how food security can maintain the livelihood of its people in one nation or in one country. But when we talk about food sustainability or food security, there are actually 4 important pillars. The first would be availability, meaning that the food that are available in a country should be available to all people at all time. Accessibility, meaning that there's no disregarding race, social status, yeah? It is accessible to everyone. Utilization, meaning the food that we eat can be utilized in any way that we want. And also stability, meaning that whatever happened to us, whatever happened to the country, was emergency and so on, the price, for example, of food can be stabilized. So this is the real definition of food security. Doesn't mean that the country that can provide a lot of food doesn't mean that it is food security nation if they don't fulfill these 4 pillars. Meaning that food security exists when all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs. So, the government, the Sarawak government, had been very proactive by drafting a very solid blueprint called Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030. Obviously, came out after the COVID, where we realized that everything that happened in the world is somehow unexpected. Yeah? So this strategy is very much important, and I believe it's the first step that done so, where agriculture is the key, one of the key we want to achieve, where the state of Sarawak wanted to achieve the status of developed and prosperous nation. Sarawak Maju Makmur by 2030. In Universiti Putra Malaysia, or formerly known as Universiti Pertanian Malaysia, pertanian and agriculture and food security is something that we are proud of. It is in our blood and it is our signature. Yeah? So Alhamdulillah, in the last month, our management of Universiti Putra Malaysia, the Vice Chancellor, and with the minister, two ministers, Minister of Agriculture and Minister of Higher Education, have launched our blueprint. We call it Blueprint Keterjaminan Makanan Universiti Putra Malaysia, which is, I would say, a playbook, important playbook, not just for the people from UPM, but also outside community and of course the nation. So we would like to become a very significant and relevant university that, inshallah, to ensure the food security of the nation. And also to add up, we had rebrand our Putra name, Universiti Putra Malaysia, because Putra, meaning there's a lot of people ask, what is the name behind Putra? Yeah? So we had rebranded Putra as a portmanteau, as an acronym as Pertanian untuk Rakyat. So, in this initiative, in this Keterjaminan Makanan Blueprint, Agrihub is one of the key initiatives that we had proposed. Yeah? So, Agrihub at Gedong is actually a Paddy transformation project. Yeah? So we always think about food security. When we think about security, at least in our part of the world, in Southeast Asia or in Asia, rice is very important. Yeah? We need to uplift the status of rice to become a preferable and profitable commodity. Yeah? So this project, Agrihub at Gedong, that started off in Gedong, specifically in Kampung Lubuk Punggol, should become a reference paddy fields for future projects in other locations in Sarawak. So we would like to replicate this, not just in Gedong, but hopefully in other parts of Sarawak, probably in Serian, in Sri Aman, and even in Limbang as well, to ensure the food security of Sarawak. So we started off this project with a lot of meetings, a lot of brainstorming sessions with related agencies such as Department of Agriculture, Economic Planning Unit, Resident Office, the community, and importantly, the Yang Amat Berhormat Premier as well, who had given support to this project since day one. Alhamdulillah, so we had drafted a very concrete project, and of course, to answer the question of food security for Sarawak. So definitely, in order for us to make this project a success, we need to be close to the community. So the community that we are involved is in Kampung Lubuk Punggol, which is rather old community, aging community, which practices traditional paddy cultivation. Yeah? So we also did some demographic study as well, where we found out the community itself is aging, and hopefully with this initiative, we will increase more younger generation to be involved in paddy cultivation. So when we found out that even though the community had worked so hard, using their blood, sweat, and tears, planting paddy, but the productivity is very, very small. There are a lot of losses in many stages of production, in harvesting, in drying, threshing, and until transportation, that goes up to 50%. That is a lot, basically. Yeah? So what we wanted to do, we want to intervene from the starting process until the end process, until the harvesting. So we want to increase the productivity, not just looking at how they will recover the loss, but also at the same time to look into the good agricultural practices that we want to promote to them. So these are, I believe that this is the first time such small machineries, which is already in the market, which is rather simple, rather straightforward, and it is a transplanter where we use this instead of manually, what we call it, membajak, manually planting, menugal, manually planting the paddy into the field. Yeah? So this excites them. So they really wanted to be involved in this in this project. So they said that, so for example, when they started this project, they said that if they want to plant or menugal, it takes about 2 weeks. But using these small machineries and other technology as well, it can just take about half a day. Yeah? So this increased a lot of attractive to the community, not just the aging community, but also to the younger generation as well. And of course, we also embedded or incorporated smart farming, the usage of drones to monitor and also to give input. Yeah? So of course, in order to ensure sustainability of this project, we need to inculcate knowledge towards the paddy planters, various generations, so that this will be a sustainable model for them. So Alhamdulillah, we had harvested our first cycle, which is launched by our premier. We call it Berani, or harvesting in Malay. Yeah? So we had successfully achieved at least 5 tons per hectare, which is rather a success story, I believe, because all this while, the productivity is only 1 ton per hectare. Yeah? So hopefully we'll improve our system. And as we speak, we have planted second season. Yeah? So hopefully in a year, we can have 3 seasons, which is, of course, definitely will increase the productivity. Inshallah, our aim will always be 8 tons per hectare for all plot in Lubuk Punggol, inshallah. So to sum it up, so this project wouldn't be a success without support from everyone. Yeah? So this is a very important and significant pictures that we talk about probably the last few months, where the head of the state, the Yang Amat Premier, the minister involved, and also the head of the university, and definitely the community. At the far side, you can see Mr. Zakaria, our Ketua Kampung of Lubuk Punggol, who had contributed very much, who had always encouraged the community and the Orang Kampung to join us, to help the environment, to help the government, and also to help themselves to increase the productivity and ensure food security of Sarawak and the nation. Inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.